And in my grandparents' house, I never liked that house. It was old, heavy with silence. My grandparents had both passed and the family hadn't sold it yet. For a few months in late 2021, I stayed there. Between apartments, free rent, they said. A roof over my head. But it didn't feel like home. It felt like something waiting. 2 months in, I came back from work around 6. The sun had already sunk low, casting the house in that pale orange glow that makes everything look fragile. As I walked to the mailbox, I saw her. The neighbor, an elderly woman I'd spoken to a few times. She shuffled up to me, wringing her hands. Her voice shook when she asked, "You said you're living here alone, right?" I nodded. She leaned closer. "Then who was in your house today?" "I saw someone moving past the upstairs window. Your car wasn't here. I thought you were at work." Her words landed like a stone in my chest. I laughed it off, thanked her, but inside I froze. Someone in the house. My house. I went inside, checked the locks, walked the rooms. Nothing out of place, no footprints, no open windows, no broken glass, just stillness. But her voice wouldn't leave me. Someone inside. I cooked dinner, put on the TV, tried to drown it out. Hours passed. By 1 a.m. I was exhausted. I killed the television and started upstairs. That's when I noticed the dark. The whole house was swallowed in it. The only light came from the bedroom upstairs where I had left a lamp on earlier. My steps creaked as I climbed, slow, reluctant. The room was divided. Bed area on one side, a narrow hall leading to a closet and a built-in vanity on the other. Then the bathroom beyond, a maze of corners, shadows everywhere. I used the bathroom, brushed my teeth, turned out the light. And that's when I saw it, a glow. The light above the vanity was on. It was an old bulb, foggy glass, a string dangling from it like a noose. I never touched it, not once, to turn it on. You had to pull the string, firm, deliberate. There was no way it could accidentally flicker on. I stood frozen. The glass buzzed faintly, bluish and sick. My heart stuttered in my chest. I pulled the string. The light died with a click. My hand shook. The silence pressed in heavier. I thought of the neighbor. Thought of her eyes when she said she saw movement inside. I should have left. But instead I sat in bed with the lamp on, scrolling my phone, pretending I wasn't listening, pretending my gut wasn't screaming. 30 minutes passed. My eyes kept darting to the door, to the hallway. The shadows felt thick, watching. I decided to check the house again. The upstairs was suffocatingly quiet. I moved into the hall, heart pounding. Each step was a scream on the wooden floor. I opened the spare bedroom door. The air shifted, heavy. Dust and old furniture crowded the room. My grandparents' bed still stood, sheets draped neatly, boxes stacked along the wall, and then I saw it A-shape something under the covers at. First, my brain refused to process it, but the longer I looked, the more clear it became. A body, a man, lying in the bed. My heart exploded. My feet stumbled back. The wood groaned beneath me, and the figure sat up. Not groggy, not surprised, swift, alert. His head snapped toward me, eyes wide, fixed, cold. He had been awake, listening, waiting. I ran, out of the room, down the stairs, through the front door. I heard his footsteps slam behind me, closing in. The air felt like claws tearing at my back. I didn't stop until I reached the neighbor's porch. Pounding the door with shaking fists, she let me in. Her hands trembled as she dialed for help. Police searched. They found nothing. He was gone. Days later, my parents helped me check the house. Nothing missing, no valuables taken, no forced entry, no reason for him to be there at all. That's what keeps me awake. If it was a squatter, why didn't he leave signs of living there? Why didn't he steal anything? Why did he wait until that night to reveal himself? I had lived there for 2 months. 2 months. And he knew. He had to know. So I wonder, how many nights did I sleep while he stood in the hallway? How many dinners did I eat while he watched from the shadows? How many times did I walk past the spare room, unaware of the man lying silently in that bed? I never went back, but sometimes I dream of that moment, the light flicking on by itself, that faint, unnatural glow in the hallway, and I wonder if he turned it on, or if he wanted me to know he was there. Story 2. The gas station in the trees. The drive felt endless. 14 hours of road stretched before me, too long for comfort, too short to justify resting. I always forced myself to do it in one punishing stretch, my body a prisoner of the wheel, the highway devouring me whole. It was midnight when my strength began to unravel, my eyes heavy, the lines on the road bending and sliding as if they were alive, the silence of the night pressing hard against the windows. Nothing but endless forest and cracked asphalt. No signs, no towns, just emptiness reaching forever. I told myself I'd stop soon. Told myself I'd grab a coffee, an energy drink, anything to keep my eyes open. But mile after mile there was nothing, only darkness swallowing the world, until finally a faint shape appeared through the trees. A gas station. Small, old, half hidden behind the pines. No neon glow, no bright signs, no warm promise of safety, just a sagging roof. 2 pumps standing naked in the dark, the building squat and silent, its windows black as stone, the kind of place you'd think was long abandoned if not for the 4 cars parked out front. I told myself that meant it was open, told myself I wasn't alone, but my stomach clenched as soon as I pulled in, the gravel crunching beneath my tires like bones. The air felt heavier here, thick, watching. I got out, the cold biting through my jacket, the lot darker than it should have been. No lights over the pumps, no buzzing signs, just shadows stretched long and thin. I walked to the door and saw only myself in the glass, pale, ghost-like, until the hinges groaned and I stepped inside. The moment I crossed the threshold, every person inside turned to look at me. 5 of them, scattered in the aisles, their heads snapping in perfect unison, their eyes fixed on mine, unblinking, unbroken. The shelves around them bare, rows of nothing, dust clinging to empty racks. Yet they stood there, as if waiting for me, as if I had been expected. Their faces were hard, rough, unreadable, their bodies still, their silence absolute, the air buzzing with something I could not name. My chest tightened, my breath caught, and I backed away. One slow step, then another, until I slipped outside and let the door close between us. The night swallowed me again. I hurried to my car, my pulse hammering so hard I felt it in my teeth. I drove away, told myself not to think, told myself it was nothing, but the memory clung like oil, the way they all turned together, the way the store was stripped bare, the way the silence pressed like a hand over my mouth. 10 minutes passed, the road still empty, the woods still endless, when headlights bloomed behind me, one pair, then another, then more, their beams merging into a wall of white. They gained on me fast, too fast. Engines snarling through the night, I slid into the right lane to let them pass. The first car roared up alongside, then cut in front of me, slamming its brakes. My tires screamed, my hands wrenched the wheel, the car jolted sideways, stopping inches from their bumper, chest crushed by the force of my own heartbeat. In the mirror, more cars closed in, boxing me, one behind, one beside, their doors opening, men spilling, out into the night, their silhouettes sharp against the glow of their own headlights. The same cars from the gas station, the same figures from inside. Something inside me snapped. I veered hard off the road, the car bucking and jolting as it tore into the trees, branches snapping across the windshield, bark screaming against metal. I pushed until I could push no further, until the forest locked me in. Then I killed the engine and fled. I ran blind into blackness, roots clawing at my shoes, branches tearing my arms, lungs burning. But I kept going, deeper, faster, the sounds of pursuit exploding behind me, boots on leaves, low voices hissing through the dark, closing in. I pressed against a tree, swallowed by shadows, my chest a furnace of panic, my ears straining for every sound. I stayed still, so still I thought my bones might crack. The voices drifted closer, then farther, the forest folding them away, the silence stretching until it hurt. Minutes bled into hours. I don't know how long I stood there, too afraid to move, too afraid to breathe, until at last the woods felt empty, the air no longer carrying the weight of pursuit. I pulled my phone from my pocket, hands shaking, screen dimmed to nothing. I opened the map, followed its faint glow back toward the road, each step a prayer not to see headlights, not to hear voices, not to feel hands reach from the dark. When the trees broke, I saw my car again, scarred and crooked, pinned between trunks. But the road was empty, all the other cars gone, as if they had never been there at all. The tow truck came hours later, dragging. The metal free. The driver asked what happened. I said little. I had no words that sounded sane, no way to explain the truth of it. No one ever found the men. No reports, no plates, no trace. Only the memory burned into me. The store with its bare shelves, the 5 heads turning in unison, the headlights rising. Behind me, the footsteps pounding through the trees. Sometimes I wonder what they wanted, what they would have done if they caught me, why they followed, why they hunted. Sometimes I think about the gas station, stripped clean of everything but silence and staring eyes. And sometimes I dream of opening that door again, the way they all turned as one, the way their gaze held me in place as if the world had already ended and I had stepped into the ruins without knowing. Story 3. The Man in the Driveway *. It was late, close to 2 in the morning, the world outside heavy with silence, my house sunk into darkness, only the faint hum of the fridge and the ticking of the wall clock keeping me company. I had been half asleep on the couch when a sound pulled me back to waking, a faint crunch, gravel shifting outside. At first I thought it was nothing, the settling of the night, the wind moving across the driveway. But then it came again, slower this time, deliberate, footsteps dragging across the stone path, stopping, starting again, closer. I froze, every muscle locked. I wanted to believe it was an animal, a stray, anything but what it felt like, the weight of someone human just beyond the walls. My pulse pounded in my ears. I pulled myself up and peeked through the thin slit in the curtain. He was standing in my driveway, tall, thin, unmoving, his face shadowed by the porch light, not close enough for detail but close enough for certainty. His head tilted slightly as if he had been watching the house for a long time already, his hands loose at his sides, empty, waiting. I stayed behind the curtain, barely breathing, watching him, willing him to move, to go, but he only stood there, minutes stretching like hours, the silence pressing harder and harder, until I thought I would suffocate under it. Finally, I found my phone, my fingers trembling as I dialed the police, whispering into the receiver, telling them there was a man outside, a stranger, someone who would not leave. They told me to stay inside, to stay hidden. That help was on the way, and I clung to their words like they could keep me safe. When I peeked again, he was gone. The driveway was empty, the night silent, the only evidence of him the churned gravel where his feet had stood. I told myself it was over. Told myself I had imagined more than what was real, but inside I knew I hadn't. The police came, their flashlights cutting across the yard, their boots scuffing the path. They searched the shadows, the hedges, the trees, but found nothing. They told me he was gone, that sometimes strangers pass through, that maybe it was a drunk or a lost wanderer, and they left. Their words thin as paper against the heaviness in my chest. I tried to sleep, tried to push it down, but my body refused. Every creak of the house, every sigh of the wind set me upright. Again, staring into the dark, waiting for him to return, and then a week later he did. This time I heard nothing. No footsteps, no crunch of gravel, only the faint glow through the curtain, a shadow against the light. When I looked, he was closer than before, standing just beyond the porch, his head tilted, his body still, his face clearer now, sharp features, eyes too wide, too fixed, a faint smile twitching at the edges of his mouth. He didn't call the police this time. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. All I could do was watch as he raised his hand slowly, deliberately, and pointed at the door. His finger steady, his arm locked in place, the gesture simple and final. Then he mouthed something. At first I thought I was imagining it, the movement of his lips small, deliberate, but when I pressed my face closer to the glass I understood. I saw the shape of the words. "My name," he whispered. "My name without sound," over and over. "My name," each syllable slow, drawn out, like a prayer, like a promise, until his smile widened and his arm dropped and he melted back into the dark. I did not sleep that night. I did not sleep for many nights after, every shadow on the street a threat, every shift of the curtains a signal. I knew he was still there, waiting, watching, and he had spoken my name without ever being close enough to hear it. How did he know my name? The question burrowed deep, gnawed at me. I searched for answers, for explanations, but none came. There were no reports of strangers in the area, no break-ins, no prowlers. No one else had seen him. No one else believed. But I know he is real. I know he is not gone. Sometimes, at night when the air is still, I hear the faint scrape of gravel, the whisper of weight shifting in the driveway. I do not look anymore. I do not dare, because I know if I see him again, I will not be able to look away. I know he is waiting for me. And I know one night when I wake to the silence of the house, he will no longer be in the driveway. He will be closer at the door, at the window inside. And when that night comes, I will finally know what he wants and why he spoke my name in the dark, like he had always owned it.